Hi everyone, this is Melissa. I go by Stitching Liz here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. I hope you'll follow me in both places. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. So glad to have you all here. Today I'm coming to you with a April wrap-up. I want to show you a couple of things that I tried that were new to me this month, my finishes, a whip, and tell you a little bit about what I'm thinking of doing for May. So let's get started with that new thing I was talking about. So like a lot of you, I was a big fan of the Pat Carson needles and was disappointed when they went out of production. But I really also like peacemakers. So I really felt like, oh, I have a needle I like. I don't need to try anything else. I'll just stick with peacemakers. But recently I got interested in finding out if there was something else, because as I mentioned in my last video, I've been having trouble with my finger here where I push my needle. I've been getting like a little callus, and also I've been puncturing myself with the back of the needle. So I thought maybe I could try a couple of different needles and see if that made any difference. So I picked up two different ones to try from 123 Stitch. I got the John James Gold needles. I got size 24 because that's the size I use most frequently. I stitch mostly on 16 count Aida, and I find that this size needle really works the best for me. And I also got Mary Arden tapestry needles. These are size 24 and size 26 in the same pack. And so I tried them both. And I like the size of the eye on both of them, of the needle. It's big enough to thread really easily, which I prefer. I hate struggling to thread a needle. So that was good with both of them. But what I found with the John James Gold needle is that it was almost sticky. Not sticky like jelly, but sticky like, almost like when you bring it through the hole of the fabric, it's like squeaky. And when I tried the Mary Ardens, they were very smooth. The other thing I like about the Mary Arden is that it feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's going to bend or break. The John James didn't feel like that either. They're nice and sturdy as well. I just didn't really like the sticky feeling of the metal on the John James needles. So I really like the Mary Arden. When I compare it in my head to the peacemakers, I would say they're definitely equal, if not liking the Mary Arden better. So really thrilled with this purchase. Really glad to have a couple of options when it comes to needles. So peacemakers, Mary Arden would be my top choices so far. So that was really fun to try. So now I'd like to show you, I had a few finishes this month, and I'd like to show you them. I'll start out with this one. Maybe it's a little hard to see with the light coming through. I'm going to put something behind it. That's a little better. This is called Chatter Broth, and it's one of the tea time designs by Bendy Stitchy Designs. Michelle Bendy did this one, and it's two demons having tea, and chatter broth is one of those kind of old words that Michelle likes to design around, and it means gossip enjoyed sometimes over a shared cup of tea. So you can see that this says gossip in the steam from the teapots and the tea mugs. It's got the definition as the border. This was a really fun stitch. It's on 16 count, picture this plus Gothic. It's a really dark fabric, but it wasn't hard to stitch on. Sometimes if it was too dark where I was stitching, it was a little hard, but it was pretty easy to feel where the holes were supposed to be. So not bad at all. So this was really fun and I really enjoyed it. The next finish I have, excuse me, it's a Quirky Quaker by Deanna Darling and Whimsy Designs. This is one she just released as a PDF in her Etsy shop. Her Etsy shop is just Darling Whimsy Designs. There's no end in between. And this is the Quirky Quaker Elvistrich or Elvistrich. It's a cryptid that looks like a chicken with antlers. It was really fun to stitch. Now, there is a pretty big mistake that I made on this, but if you can't see it, I'm not going to tell you about it. The fabric is a 14 count Aida that was dyed by Jody of the Steel City Stitchers. So it's Magical Jody fabric. For a while I was in her Fabric of the Month Club, which I highly recommend. If you like colorful fabric, she does a lot of great colorful fabric. My next finish is this spring design. It's called Spring Beauty, and it's by Pedal Pusher. You can find her her shop on Etsy. She's got a lot of great designs. I've been working on this series of seasonal stitches, and this is actually on my WipGo board because my WipGo board is a seasonal WipGo board. So I was able to mark off that I had finished this one on my WipGo board. I love the trees, I love the colors. It was so fun to stitch. And this is on a 16 count fabric. And then the last finish I'm going to show you is probably one of my proudest finishes that I have. Excuse me. It is a really old whip that I've had. I found out when I started it. And I started it for my new year, new start on January 1st, 2017. And this is it. It is a Mill Hill kit. And it's designed by Jim Shore. It's a quilted cat. That's a series that he did of quilted cats. And this one is named Scarlet. So I'm going to try and give you a chance to see some of the beads. This is heavily beaded. At least I think it's heavily beaded. It's on 14 count perforated paper. And this red frame is the recommended Mill Hill frame. It fits in there perfectly. It was so thrilling to see it in a frame. I very rarely fully finish anything. So having this frame and being able to pop this right inside was so great. I'm really proud. I very rarely bead. I think I've done one other project that had beading on it, and that was many years ago, and it wasn't this much beading. So I was really proud of myself that I tried the beading. I got some nice encouragement from people on Instagram, and I'm really thrilled with this one. And it's a really old whip that is now done. I submitted this to Michelle Bendy on Instagram for her WipDown 2023 sale. There's a hashtag. I think it's WipDown 2023 sale. I think. But she's encouraging everyone to work on WIPs and finish WIPs. And she's been really great about reposting your post. So I submitted this and I was really excited about it. I also used this for Beck's Cat Kingdom sale. Beck is encouraging people to stitch cats for her birthday month, which is April. So I used this for that too. So that's that finish. So I was really pleased with all my finishes this month. I felt like I got a lot done and I really enjoyed what I worked on. Now I'm going to show you a couple of WIPs. One of them is my temperature project. And this is a big heart that is made up of little hearts. And it started up here and it goes around the border. So you can see I am up to here now, working my way this way, and then I'll be going back inside for the third round. You can see as it gets hotter, the flosses get redder and redder. So I had a couple of red days already. Got pretty warm here. You can see some orange. It was a very, very mild winter, so my coldest color is purple and I didn't get any purple. So I am hoping that December is frigid so that I can stitch purple. But this is so much fun. I do this on Sunday mornings and I do 7 days, all the past 7 days, and I do 7 hearts. And it is very meditative to me. I just really enjoy it. It brings me such peace to do. And I love seeing what colors I get to do and picking them out of the bag and stitching them up. It really makes me happy. So this is a really fun project of mine. And that's what it looks like right now. I'll be working on that again tomorrow. And then finally, I have a current WIP that I'm working on actively. I actually hope to finish it this weekend. Oh, my fingers are crossed. There's this thing called the Stitchers Collective now. And the Stitchers Collective is made up of a bunch of designers who came together, and one of their projects that they have done is an Earth Day collaboration where 31 designers designed an Earth Day design, and they asked stitchers to donate at least $10 to one of 4 Earth-related charities, and you would get access to the 31 designs for a month. It ends on May 15th, so you can still get access to these designs. What you do is you donate, you go to the Stitchers Collective website and you donate the money and send them your receipt. And when you send them your receipt, you get back an email that has all of the designs in a Google Drive as PDFs, and you can print out or use your device for whichever designs you want. And there's so many great designs. So I did this. I donated money to Oceana, and I was really excited to see the variety of designs, so many different styles all around Earth Day. So I decided to stitch this one first. It's called Gaia by Quaternion Creations. I should have practiced that before. Quaternion. Let's go with that. And it's called Gaia. It's in black and white because I printed it in black and white. But this was originally done in white with white fabric, and this was a blue and green variegated floss. You can see it's like a goddess holding the earth in her hands with this urn next to it and some doodads around the edges. So I started this yesterday for my weekend stitching, and I decided to do it on a like a mottled colored fabric. It's a very old fabric I had from Fabrics by LJ. LJ was a dyer for a very long time and has not dyed for many years. So this is a really old fabric. I've held on to all of his. I love them. I have a variety of different shades. He was known for really bright color. So sometimes it's hard to find a pattern that you can really use with his fabrics. They're gorgeous, but they're hard to put together with a chart. So this one I did, this is the fabric. I felt like it was perfect for earth. And this is where I am so far. It's really fun stitching, but it's taking longer than I thought it would take. It's a lot of little stitches, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it. There's a lot of stitching in here. It's really a lot of stitches, but it's really fun. So I'm hoping I'll be able to finish it by the end of the weekend. I think she's really pretty. So that's my whip that I'm working on. I think now I'd like to tell you about my 2 ideas for plans for May. I'm going to have to decide soon. We've only got 1 more week before May starts. And so my 2 ideas are to either do a monogamous May with a whip that I have currently and work on that for all of the weekends in May that I stitch. Or I have an idea to do a mini May where I stitch smalls all throughout the month of May when I do my stitching each weekend. So I have some quirky Quakers, I have some tea time, I have a spring pattern that's very small. It's a Lizzie Kate. So I was thinking I might do mini May and do the smalls and see how I do with that. So I'm deciding because I really want to work on my whip for Michelle Bendy's WipDown sale, but I also would like to work on some of these other charts that I have that are calling to me as well. So who knows, I'll probably do a combination of something. I usually go with what I'm in the mood for. So maybe what I should do, I'm just thinking of this now, is call it Moody May and just do what I'm in the mood for. What do you think of that? That may be exactly what I do, Moody May. I hope you'll join me, and whatever you do in May, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you've had some good stitching in April, and that you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.